It is very easy to overlook TonCoin. There was pretty much no price action whatsoever in the last month. We went sideways. However, the overall market itself imploded. So TonCoin did pretty well relative to Bitcoin, for example. And that's not just during the bear market. Even in the last year, where Bitcoin almost doubled, TonCoin more than 5x'd. Now, where does this outperformance come from? Let's have a look at relative valuation metrics long term. Let's have a look at some on-chain data most people aren't considering. Let's see why capital is flowing into Ton. So check this out. This is DeFi Llama. And it shows us the total value locked development of various blockchains over different time frames. And when we look at the last month, all blockchains but Ton lost value. It's clearly a winner takes most game. Ton grew its total value locked by almost 60%. The rest lost total value locked somewhere between 7% and 46%. And so that's then how that looks like on a chart. This is the total value locked of Ton over time. This is measured in US dollars. We did see a bit of a hiccup in US dollars in the last few days. Measured in Ton though, we don't see that hiccup. We see continued growth. We are now at an all-time high in total value locked measured in Ton tokens. Now the big question with any altcoin, especially in a bear market where we don't see a lot of capital inflows, the big question is always tokenomics. How much is potentially the token diluting? How much more supply could hit the market? And at first glance, this doesn't look that great because the circulating supply is 2.5 billion Ton tokens. The total supply is 5.1 billion. So we've got pretty much a 2x in supply that's going to hit the market. But here's the thing, that supply will not hit the market very soon. Again, this is DeFi Llama. This is the TON locker. And we had a lot of token inflation in 2021 and partially in 2022. Now we are going flat, and only until end of 2025 do we see some kind of increase again. Now let's overlay this with the price and market cap chart and have a look at how nicely this correlates. When the supply goes up, the price and market cap tend to go down. When the supply doesn't grow anymore, then there is potential room for growth. In other words, there is a real chance that very long term in 2026, 2027 and 2028, the price could again, as it did in the past, underperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. The largest DeFi protocol on the Ton blockchain is DDust. DDust has 358 million in total value locked. Here's the total value locked development over time. And the reason why DDust is attracting so much capital is because the trading volume is high. Thus, the APRs on depositing Ton with Tether, for example, are comparatively elevated. If you deploy half Ton, half USDT on DDust, you get an APR of 72% on tokens that are not inflationary. Now, I always like to look at relative valuation charts, right? Because when Bitcoin goes up and Ethereum goes up, then all the altcoins tend to go up as well, and vice versa. So what we actually want to do is we want to see at an altcoin performance relative to Ethereum or relative to Bitcoin, right? We want to get this extra risk that we take on by buying an altcoin. We want to get that extra risk paid for. Now, most people only look at the relative valuation to Bitcoin. I personally prefer relative valuations to Ethereum, and here is why. Have a look at the correlation coefficients of various altcoins to Bitcoin and to Ethereum. So the first column versus the second column. The first column tends to have lower numbers compared to the second column. In other words, the altcoins tend to move more in sync with Ethereum. They're higher correlated with Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. And that makes sense, right? People that get into Ethereum tend to be more active crypto participants. People that buy Bitcoin simply just buy and hold. And so there is, just from a market psychology perspective, already a better connection between ETH and the alts. So let's outperform ETH. Let's look at Ton relative to Ethereum, the chart behind me. This goes in an interesting trading range with quite a bit of volatility. From bottom to top, we've got a more than 300% rally outperformance versus Ethereum. From top to bottom, we see an underperformance of 71%. So massive ups and downs over the long term, rather increasing. Currently, we are somewhat elevated. We aren't though at maximum heights yet that are another 35% or so away from here. Can this long-term trend break? Could we potentially go even higher? Yes, of course we could, especially if we continue to see TON outperforming in terms of adoption versus the other chains. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that much in the last 7 days, but let's simply just keep an eye on this. Here's another interesting way to look at relative valuation. This here is TON dominance. So how much of all of cryptocurrency's market cap is locked up in TON? TON currently is the 8th largest cryptocurrency. It's got a market cap of 18 billion. And with that, 0.9% roughly of all of crypto is in TON. Again, we see this long-term upwards trend. Those lines are not necessarily science, but sometimes they do become self-fulfilling prophecies. And with this metric, we are even more balanced. We are not that expensive, which is very different to the relative Ethereum valuation chart. I'm planning to continue to do updates on TON. In case you're interested in that, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. If you've got Telegram, feel free to join us. The link is down below. Looking very much forward to chatting with you. Cheers.